Hi, I'm Sarah McKenna. I'm the CEO of Sequentum, and I am going to show you a demo of the Sequentum Cloud. This is the dashboard, which shows recent activities in our demo account. I'm going to go ahead and show you the editor. This is where we point and click and create our agents. And I'm going to show you how to create an Amazon Jobs agent in two ways. First of all, you'll see that it's executing, loading the page. It's actually loading all the structures on the page, recognizing what they are, the types of data structures. As I click around, it's noting the elements, it's recognizing them. I'm going to click on one link, hold down the Shift key, click on the next link, and you'll see that there's a context-sensitive menu down here. The options have changed as I've clicked around. Since I've clicked a list, it's recognizing all of the link lists on the page. I'm actually going to create a link list of jobs. Okay, I'm going to rename that. Now I'm going to load one of these jobs links. Now it's just going to do all the iteration through all the items in the list. You don't need to worry about that in your agent logic. Here I'm going to get the title. Oops. And here I'm going to get the job ID. Now you'll notice in this web element, it's actually extracted more than the job ID. It's extracted everything in the web element, but really all I want is the job ID. So I'm going to go ahead and further click into this. What's happening here behind the scenes, it's automatically generating regular expression to parse out just the job ID. If I don't like the way that automatically generated that, I can edit it, which is great. It's our editor is 95% point and click. You can basically do almost everything you need, but anything that requires customization, you come right over here to your transformation engine. You can use regular expression, you can use JavaScript, you can use C Sharp, you can use Python, all normal programming languages that people are familiar with and expect. And you can upload your libraries, any third-party libraries that you want, and customize to your heart's content. I'm going to go ahead and grab the description as well. This is going to enable you to see our error logging because it's inevitably going to trigger an error. You know what? I'm going to go into manual navigation mode also. Get rid of the cookie pop-up so we don't have to look at it. So in here, I'm looking at the schema, and I've noticed that these are all standard text, right? This is going to trigger an error because the description is often long text, not short text. Um, but the way that we do this here, so once we create an agent, which we've basically created now, we go in here and we trigger some strict uh, data type validation. I can also configure rules to never allow null, for example. Um, I'm going to leave this as is, even though I know that it's often long text. Other things that we can do are to specify either a regular expression, if it's a VIN number, for example, and you want to have um, strict validation of that VIN number syntax. You might use a regular expression to validate that content. You may also want to use regular expression to validate that you're not picking up email addresses and phone numbers, um, PII in reviews that you may be collecting or any other data that you're collecting from the web. You might want to make sure that you're not getting any PII. If it's a date, then you can specify your format. You can make sure that you're getting the date in a common format, and if not, you can catch and handle that error, et cetera, et cetera. So you can do a lot of really powerful things with your validation, um, which is great. And then you can also use that to configure change tracking, which I'm not going to do here since we're just running it for the first time. But we can remove duplicates, right? And I can specify what the identifier is, what's excluded, all of these tried and true capabilities that have been perfected over the last 17 years, what everyone typically wants to do when they're writing a web scraping agent. And then I can also um, basically configure my agent to write to deliver to any endpoint. So let's say I want to do a Google Sheet. Let me see. I'm going to deliver this to a Google Sheet. I'm going to use one that I've pre-configured, and I'm actually going to load this and show you. Let's save that. Let's see. So in this Google Sheet, right, there's nothing in here right now. I'm going to go ahead and let's see. First of all, I'll just preview it for you. Do a little faster, right? Nice debugging, visual playback. Again, everything's in the browser, nothing to install, no extension, nothing. So this is great. There you've got an error. The description can't be longer um, than 4,000 characters. So we already have an error. Very nice, very clear. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that. I'm going to say this has to be long text. Very good. I'm still going to get some errors. For some of the other fields, sometimes they have errors. So this is good, right? And now we're basically going to play it. There's not going to be any errors right away. I'm not going to bother adding, or maybe I will actually. Here, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add pagination. I'm going to say, okay, next, 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 next. And again, context menu, it knows this is pagination. Very good. It knows where to add it in the workflow, right? It's basically going to wrap around that linked list so that all the iteration through every single job is done automatically. Um, Again, I can preview this for you. I'm not going to make you watch it all the way down through the pagination. The other thing that I want to show you is that this is our agent in text form. So you can point and click to create your agent. Then once you have your agent, you want to make little tiny minor edits. You can just paste it into the text form. I can also download this, save it to a file, send it to support and say, I don't understand, how to get ABC. Can you help me? I can import from a file. So very, very easy. I can copy and paste, slice and dice, right? Very, very easy. Um, Now, I'm actually going to write this one other way. So right here, we're using a full browser, which is a tremendous capability. The platform manages the full browsers for you. It's managing proxies for you. You're able to add any input parameters if you want to drive it from the API. You can do all kinds of things to your browser profile to make sure that bot blocking sees you as a unique human and not some scraping server making requests over and over. You can also set success criteria. You can say, I'm only going to allow 1 or 2 errors on this, or 0 errors, whatever you want, so that you can basically keep track of the quality of your scraping jobs over time. Make sure you're getting the approximate number of page loads that you expect, the data count you want, the export count you want, right? Export is different than data collection, right? Depending on your export logic. Um, really, really a lot of power at your fingertips in here. But I'm going to show you one other way to write this. This is a full browser agent. And what we can do is we can actually go down into here and we can figure out um, what's called a JSON backend API, which probably 40% of all websites have because they're serving the same data to tons of different mobile apps with different form factors, different browsers, different devices have different form factors as well. If you're on an iPad or a Mac or Windows machine, right, the website will typically have this backend JSON API, and then it'll display it differently. So sometimes you need a full browser, sometimes you don't. It's much more efficient to pull from the backend API. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that URL, and I'm going to paste it into the options on my URL navigation command. Now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that since I know that they are limiting the size to 10 records per page. So I'm going to go ahead and increase that. So I know there's more than that. And now I'm going to go ahead and reload this. It's automatically switching to a static browser because the dynamic browser is very heavy and the static browser has different functionality. It's reading from backend JSON API now. So while it can expose, all the data and you can point and click, I'm actually just going to extract all fields here. And I'm going to get rid of this node because I'm not doing it in the dynamic browser anymore. I'm also going to get rid of facets, which is basically all job counts, which I don't really care about. So here it is. I've got all of the fields, everything that is in these job records. I'm going to go down in here and take a look. It's automatically detecting the data type, which is much easier to do when it's a JSON backend URL. I'm going to, oh, it already says that that's an integer. So this is looking very good. Let's see, the description's probably going to be short text again. Yeah, let's make that long text this time. All right, we're probably still going to get preferred qualification text too long. I'm still removing duplicates, but let me find the job ID that I'm actually going to use. Okay, that's going to be my identifier. Very good. All right, let's save it. Now, when I save this agent, I'm actually going to save it to the version control, which is automatically generated in our control center. So we have a control center that keeps track of all the information, right? Even though I switched this from dynamic to parser, this agent, it went ahead and updated the documentation automatically, right? We have duplicate tracking is enabled, change tracking is not enabled. There's really only one version because I only really checked it in once. I only saved it once. Now, if I want to schedule it, I'm actually going to run it once. I'm not going to schedule it. I can specify what type of proxies I want, and I can also configure my own proxies if I want to bring my own. I can configure all my parallel processing if I want to run, you know, 10 or 20 sessions in parallel. I'm actually going to do both text and HTML, which is again a nice little. I'm going to run this once. I'm actually going to run it immediately without scheduling it. Okay, run now, data center proxies, that should be fine. Now it's going ahead and running it. And just like you had on the other screen, you on the in the preview tab, you have previews that will load if it doesn't run so fast. Here you go. Is your all your data is here. All your data science jobs are here. Very nice, 197 of them. Here is the log, right, which you can see has very detailed, um, easily expanded, details at every step in the way. There's a little warning here saying in this particular record, this particular optional web element was missing. But I'm actually only interested in the errors because I want to see what's going on. And I can click down in here. There we go. Preferred qualifications. It exceeded the default text length of 4,000, right? So I would go back and expand that, and then I would end up with no errors whatsoever. So here I was able to show you how to create an agent in two different ways. I was able to export to one of my pre-configured destinations, which is Google Sheets. Also in my results, I was able to show you, the HTML log, which makes it very easy um, to diagnose errors. We also have the text log, which is even better. The CSV of the content is also loaded here. We have summary stats over here. We have the one error that we took a look at. Everything is looking good. The other thing I want to show you is usage. So going down here, oh, it doesn't even trigger. It doesn't even show usage because it's using so little server and proxy time. I should go back and run it the other way in order to trigger some usage, but I can show you. This one was running in full browser mode, and it used some server time, 7 pennies worth. Um, and some other things that are worth noting is you can set up API keys for any agent you want so that you have secure access to the agents that you want to trigger. Again, this is where you create your custom proxy pools. Proxies are how you route your requests to websites. So for example, if you want to get the price of a banana globally, you'll configure lots of different geo IPs in here. I had pre-configured this Google Sheet as a destination, et cetera, et cetera. There's all these audit logs, right? And you can see this is the one that I just created, right? Um, I logged in recently. So this is, in a nutshell, Sequentum Cloud. And we look forward to giving you a more in-depth demo in person.